Have you ever hugged a beggar? So normally I don't like begging very much. I don't like what it means for the person begging, that they've stooped, that's the way they're living, that they feel powerless and so they have to beg for things. And also the fact that if you give them money, what they're going to do with it, drugs or alcohol a lot of the time. Tonight I was on a train on the way home after an inspired event in Mayfair, which was a wonderful evening of inspiring talks. Um, But I was on the train, and then this guy came onto the train. He had one leg. He was walking with a walking stick, um, obviously very drunk. He was going up to people with the cup in his hand and trying to get change. He could barely walk. The train was moving. He had no shoes on even. It was hard to see him. People were looking away. They didn't want to see him. So he comes over and he starts talking about he's a soldier and what's happened to him. I mean, and so I just looked him in the eye. I just wanted to know about him really. So I asked him. I said, "Where did he serve?" And he was telling me about Northern Ireland and Kosovo, and Afghanistan, and in Iraq, the first Iraq War as well. He's in the army for like 20 or 22 years, and so I dived into the story with him. I ended up walking. We walked back together to Highgate, and he was just telling me his story really, which is fascinating and sad as well. He was saying how he was walking with his guys. He was a sergeant as well, so he's used to giving orders, and now he's reduced to begging, which is fucking horrible. But he was a soldier. He was walking along. He had four men either side of him, and they were walking along. They had this Challenger, I think it's a tank, go past, and then suddenly stepped on an IED, got blown 8 foot in the air. And apparently he says that the worst bit was not that. The worst bit was that there was shrapnel, the bits and pieces that they flew out and killed two of his men, like 17 and 18 years old, or 18, 19 years old. And that's kind of what stayed with him. And he said that when he came back, he was flying back to Breeze Norton, and he said they had like medals, given to the guys that died. And he's got 22 years. He had lots of medals. And he said that he went to the Thames and he threw them in the Thames because if all the fucking piece of tin, what's the point? And now he's reduced. He's got his face where he got burned as well from the IED. And the guy's obviously seen a lot. He's done a lot for his country and for the army. And he's now been reduced to that. It's fucking horrible. So I ended up talking to him for, I don't know, about an hour, I think. He asked for a hug. I gave him a hug a few times. I don't think he gets that connection very often. And so, yeah, it was really a wonderful thing to hug him. And he quite welled up actually at times, because obviously people just see him as like a fucking inconvenience or something. So yeah, it's fucking heartbreaking. Now, the thing is, I could see him I asked him about his sergeant days, and when I asked him about that, something woke up in him. He started to get his voice changed, his physiology changed. He suddenly got this fucking power inside, when he used to command men, he used to be powerful. And that power came back in his voice, and I could feel it, I could feel the fucking power in him. And that was beautiful to see. But of course his life isn't like that. He goes around begging for food and for money. He gets a pension he gets is nowhere near enough, obviously, and he can't work for whatever reason. Whether that's psychological as well as physical, I don't know. I mean, my guess is it is, because I believe that anyone can do something, but he's in a bad way. Now he says he's got a girlfriend called Rachel who's pregnant, 8 months pregnant. I'm taking it at his word, of course. Whether that's true or not, I can't know for sure. But yeah, he touched me really, and so I'm glad I spent that time with him. Looked him in the eyes. I think I hugged him about 6 or 7 times in the end. It was fucking powerful, really. I just think, the lives that some people go through and that he's been through. He lives in Lewisham, so he travels the Northern Line a lot. So if ever you're on the Northern Line, you see a bent-over guy with one leg and no shoes. That's Vinny. His name's Vinny McBride. He said that he used to call him Springer because he's been shot, stabbed, all kinds of stuff happened. He'd always spring back. But he says he doesn't want to be called Springer. He wants to be called Vinny McBride because that's his name. Came to England when he was 5 years old. Doesn't talk to his brothers. anymore. Oh, that's my bus coming. So yeah, maybe when you're out and you get an opportunity, go actually connect with someone and find out their story. I'm actually going to follow up with him. I've got his number, and I don't know what I'm going to do with that, but I'm going to see how he is. So that's it for now. Take care.